Forecast automation profiles contain settings and rules for time series analysis and change point detection. Both are features that provide information about the historical sales for various applications within IBP and help produce a better forecast. To create a profile, start the Manage Forecast Automation Profiles app by clicking here. When the app opens, you can see the list of all forecast automation profiles in your system. When you choose Create, a new page opens, where you can make settings for your forecast automation profile. Start by choosing a planning area, and change the input key figure and the description if you like. These settings will appear in the header of the profile page in display mode. In the next section, you can select a target calculation level, and as many additional calculation levels as you wish. Time series analysis and change point detection will run on all levels that you specify. The default target calculation level is the base planning level of the input for analysis. You can change it as you wish. You might decide, for example, to remove the customer ID attribute. For the additional calculation levels, you can use any attributes and periodicities that are included in the base planning level of the input key figure, but these levels must always be aggregated compared to the target calculation level. For example, if the target calculation level is product ID, location ID, and the periodicity is week, you can choose product group, location region, and month as an additional calculation level. The next section is where you set the rules for time series analysis. Some of these rules are time-related, such as the number of historical periods that should be considered. This setting can only be defined in the most granular periodicity that is used in the target calculation level, and it refers to the most recent periods. For example, if you enter 52 here, the historical time horizon will start 52 weeks ago and end with the week before the current one. To get reliable analysis results, you also need to specify the minimum number of data points. Let's say that the system should only analyse the time series of planning objects with sales data for at least 6 periods in the past. Now you can go on to specify the rules that govern the identification of the major properties, which are seasonality, trend, intermittency, and volatility. Let's say that this time you want to use the default values, except for the intermittency detection method, which you change to zeros or missing values, and change the percentage to 50. This will prompt the system to only identify a time series as intermittent if the proportion of zeros or missing values is higher than 50% compared to existing values. We won't go through each of these fields here, but you can find their explanations in the in-app help. You can also set the system to save analysis results on a more detailed level by using these toggle buttons here. For example, if you switch separate categories per trend direction to on, the system will not only assign trend to the planning objects, but also the direction of the trend, which can be upward or downward. You can also opt for categories, such as the type of seasonality, or the lumpy nature of an intermittent time series. The categories assigned to a planning object are then combined to form groups, such as multiplicative seasonality with downward trend. In the next section, you can choose attributes and key figures for saving the results of the time series analysis on various calculation levels. This step is not mandatory, as the system saves all properties in the background anyway, but the saved properties will come in handy in several IBP applications. If you want to save the results in various attributes and key figures, you need to choose different ones for each calculation level. The last section allows you to make settings for change point detection. Change points are level shifts or trend changes that occurred in the time series of the input key figure and had long-term effects on the data. To avoid having too many change points identified in the time series, you can specify the minimum interval between two adjacent change points. Let's say that you change the default 6 to 7 here, meaning that two neighbouring change points should be at least 7 periods apart from each other. You can also define the minimum level shift and the minimum trend change to ensure that only major changes are identified by the system as change points. Now that you have specified the input, the rules, and the outputs, and saved your forecast automation profile, it's time to run the time series analysis. For this, you need to open the Application Jobs app and create a new job using the Forecast Automation job template and the forecast automation profile you just created. Here you can select the type of analysis you want to run: time series analysis, change point detection, or both. To see how you can check and utilise the results of this job, see our other video on time series analysis.